So I am going to cover this day, which was the 22nd. It was Thursday, and I did not do good on trading this day. And I just thought, for fairness sake, we should go over this and kind of talk about where I went wrong. So the very first thing that happened was I got a late start because I was busy doing something else, and I did not start until 9:45. So the market had already kind of been through a good bit of its early morning movements. And let's see. So I placed a long order here, and just kind of looking over here at the screen, I think we'd already kind of peaked out, and it looks like it's probably going to drop. And it did. So I lost $200 so far on this first trade. It did look like perhaps it was hesitating here on the very short-term chart. The long 1 hour chart here doesn't look so good. I drew in a channel. It does look like it's at the bottom of the channel. It does have an appearance of it bouncing up at this point, so I hung on to that trade. It looks like lost at one point over $300, which is really not good. It did come up, and I got back almost to where I had started. I put in a stop order at this point, and I was hoping it would get up to this point and I would get out. I'm just barely in the green at that point, so I got out, gave up on waiting, and made $50 on the first trade. So even though it was profitable, that was not a good trade. Okay, at this point, I had kind of reversed my thinking and decided that it was probably going to be dropping. So I got into a short, which I do agree with, actually, in hindsight. I did put in a stop order so that if it went up too far, I would get out. And I was very nervous about it dropping because, we're still kind of in an uptrend here. So I'm trading against the trend generally. That's not a good thing. So I put in an exit order at a very, very small place and actually got executed there. And that went well for me. So 2 trades, I made 125. So far, so good, right? Okay, so at this point, I thought the MACD was showing and the longer term charts were showing that it was probably going to be dropping some more. So I did a short order. Again, it dropped down some more. And I did a very, very small order right here to get out, and got out. Right, this is the beginnings of the fourth order, I believe. Yes, all right. So got out at that one, and now I'm sitting at a $200 profit with 3 trades, and it's 10:03. So I've been trading for, 15, 20 minutes at this point. All right. It looked like it had started a recovery and the MACD was perhaps turning. You can also look on the 15-minute chart, and it's possibly sitting on the orange SMA as a support. And the 30-minute chart's not looking so good, but that's a long ways out there, and I don't usually put as much weight on the 30-minute chart. So I do think this is probably not a bad place to get in a long. Let's see how it goes. Okay, it went up. That's excellent. I put in an exit order up here just below the gold SMA, but then it hesitated just before it got there and dropped down. So I'm losing money now at this trade, and it dropped down a lot more now. I've lost all my profits, and it dropped down some more. At this point, I finally decided, forget this. This is terrible. I'm putting in a stop order right here. I really, really do not want to be on this trade if it drops below that point. I hope it comes back up, and the MACD is hopefully turning. So I did not quite get out of that trade. I actually lowered it just a little bit further and put it in as a reverse order, which in hindsight was really stupid. So we've kind of broken through the bottom of that channel that I drew just a little, not enough to really say that it's changed the trend yet, but not good. And it's probably not the best time to get into a short, to be right honest about it, because when it's dropped that far, it often will recover again. And sure enough, it did. You can see it going up. And at this point, I reversed my mind again and said, nope, I really think it's going to go up. I should have stayed in my long, but I'm in a short, so I'm going to put in a reverse order here. And this is my loss right here of around 200, 175. So now I'm in a long again. And not sure where it's going. The MACD is what I'm hanging on to here. And also this looks like a recovery, a bounce. We've got a higher low here than we do here. Still pretty iffy. Okay, and so I've lost 737 at this point. Not good. With all my indecision changing directions. So that was another big boo-boo that I made. Changing my mind and not putting in stops, not reacting in time. And again, when you're trading after the opening bell, things do move so fast that it is hard to make wise decisions and react quickly to them. That's why I like to trade before the opening bell. Anyway, so at this point, I did decide that it was looking more like it was going to drop. So I put in another reverse order, this time at a very, very small loss to get into a short. All right, so I'm in a short position here, and I put an exit order in down here, and I picked that point because that was the bottom, the lowest that it's been for the day. And just kind of waiting to see what will happen. Here, I kind of gave up on that and decided I just needed to shoot for the smaller trades. That just works better, even though it's tempting to do the bigger trades. Sometimes, it just doesn't really work very well. So, put in a stop order, which looks like it got filled. So I got out of that trade, and now I'm changing my mind yet again. Now I'm at an $800 loss, and it is looking like maybe it is truly going up again. This was just a little bit of a test that kind of tried me, and I failed. So now I'm getting into a long position here. And again, I'm aiming for a short. That was the only good thing I did here. I was aiming for a shorter, smaller sort of trade, and got out here at a profit. So that's good. Very good. All right, and now I've put in another entrance order here to get into a short. Whittled my losses down to 700, and that was a good trade. Okay, so I've got an exit order in down here. It looks like it's just about to be filled. Looking good. All right, now I'm kind of playing this back and forth a little bit. So now I'm getting into a long. I'm going to ride it up hopefully to here. Whittled my losses down to 525. So I was feeling pretty good about it until this big red candle happened, and I'm back down at my $787 loss again. And I really should have placed a stop because this is pretty iffy right here. There was a lot of indecision, and I should have placed a stop. That was not very wise of me. All right, so lost money here, hanging on to a long position until this point. I got out at a loss, I believe, and I put another order in to get into a short at this point. So don't know if that was exactly the right place to go because it does look like it might come back up again. But I did a short, and I put in a really tight stop at a very small profit, and I was hoping it would make a little bit more profit than that, but it didn't, of course. Okay. Now, I did what I don't see any evidence for here except for this one little MACD, and I placed a long order. So you can tell I'm just kind of getting frustrated at this point and making quick decisions that are not necessarily based on good, solid evidence. All right, so one more little piece of evidence is that it is almost sitting at support here, so it's possible that we're at a bouncing point. Maybe it'll work, I don't know. All right, so it actually is working out pretty well. It went up, and I actually placed a stop, so that's good. And I'm hoping for a little bit bigger trade here. I think this is fine, though. All right, and I got out at this point. I canceled my stop and just put in an exit order right there, which got filled. So that was good. Whittled my losses back down to 512 once again. And it is 10:34 at this point. Probably should have stopped quite a long time ago, actually. But that last trade gave me hope that maybe I could whittle my losses back down to zero again. That's kind of what I'm aiming for at this point. And my commissions are also piling up because I've already made 13 trades. So, that's something to consider at this point as well. Okay, looks like at this point it may be dropping. The MACD is not looking so good, but maybe. I put in a short here and put in a stop and possible destination point. And as it lowered down, I lowered my stop so I wouldn't get any loss at all on this trade and got stopped out. And then I immediately regretted it. As the MACD looks like it's crossing, put in a short order, and this time I have a bracketed order, so they will cancel each other out and I can move them as they go. So very tight, and looks like I made good on that one. Whittled my losses down to 475. Now I've got 15 trades under my belt. Okay, try a short one more time. Very tight stop and limit order that are linked. You can see that little link sign right there that shows that when one gets filled, then the other one will go away, and that's really helpful so that you don't accidentally get into another trade when you're not ready for that. So it's a short and looks like it went up and I got stopped out. So it was small loss again. Okay, and I've decided to do a long at this point. It looks like it might be turning. I'm seeing evidence of the drop slowing down. So yeah, I don't know about the MACD on this one. It's just, again, just getting a little frustrated with my trading here. Okay, so I'm in a long, bracketed orders again. Got stopped out. And this time I'm putting in a long, looks like. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. I think these orders are going to go away. All right, so not sure what happened there. Let's see. Okay, so I did a market order to get into a long at this point at 36.75, and then it went up to 38.75, and I must have gotten out because that was my 18th trade, and I made a little bit of a profit. Now my losses are back down at 500 again, and just kind of watching it. All right, at this point I put in a long. I figured it was going to bounce off of this point. This is not a good trade because you don't want to place your orders in at a point where you think it's going to bounce. You want to be actually seeing evidence of it doing that. So this is not a good trade. And it's also dropping. So yeah, that's not good. So I got into a short and almost immediately got filled with that stop. So I lost, some on that one too, 175, I guess. Okay, and then when it bounced off of this point, showed a green candle, I did get into a long, and actually I do think this is a decent trade right here. We're definitely seeing some evidence of it bouncing at that point. Went up, that's good, got out, excellent. Okay, now I'm going to be getting into a short because it bounced off at that point. Looks like it's going to drop, did a short, and I placed kind of a reverse order at this point. So I'm going to get out of a trade at a very, very, very tiny profit and get back into a long. Okay, so now I'm in a long, got my exit order up here. I think it's probably going to bounce up to that point, but instead it dropped, and now I'm back down at a $750 loss and 22 trades. This is ridiculous. This is really not good trading at all. And it dropped even more, and kind of wish that I'd hung on to a short position, but you can't really tell at this point what's happening. It's just pretty volatile right now, and I could see that, and I tried to trade anyway, so that was not good. Okay, so I got into a short at the point where it might actually be bouncing and going back up again. We've already had the big drop, so this is not a good time to get into a short. We need to be waiting until we see a recovery, and then we can get into a long and ride it up maybe, but not getting into a short at this point. Okay, so it dropped down a couple points, and at this point I kind of realized my mistake and did a reverse order, but again, it's a little bit of a loss. So my losses are now at 825 plus commissions, right? And then I'm in my 24th trade right now, which is my last trade for the day, when I finally kind of gave up. MACD is looking good that it's going to go up, and I'm in a long, so that's all good. Put an exit order in up here, but then it kind of fell back down again. And now I'm at a $950 loss. And I had set a goal for myself that I wasn't going to lose any more than $900 a day. I would stop at that point, and I'm kind of past that point now. And so I kind of at this point made the decision I'm just done trading. So I'm just hoping to get out of this one as gracefully as possible. The MACD is so low that I'm really hoping it will come back up. We are sitting at a support here, so there's every reason to think it probably will. And I'm not sure what I did here, actually. Looks like I'm going to get stopped out. All right, so it looks like I did. Anyway, so that was the end of the trading. I ended up losing with all my commissions. I lost 1,033, and I had traded for a couple hours. And so, and if you look at the market, what had happened for trading that day, we had a huge drop, and then it recovered by the end of the day almost completely. So it was just a super volatile day. That's not a good thing at all to be trading on such a volatile day.